The information I want to share with you in this video is all about metformin. So if you are a type 2 diabetic and you're currently on metformin, or if you know someone who is a type 2 diabetic that is on metformin, this information is going to be of great interest to you. There is a correlation. The research is showing that there is a direct link and a correlation between the administration of metformin, that is taking metformin for type 2 diabetes, and Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia, and vascular dementia as well. This research was done over a 12-year period, 9,300 patients that they watched over a 12-year period that were on metformin. And it's stated that the risk for Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, or dementia and vascular dementia was more than doubled during the 12-year period for those that took metformin as compared to individuals who did not take metformin. Quite frightening, see? For every action, there's always an equal and opposite reaction. And now also the research went on to state that the outcomes increased. What they're saying is it actually got worse the longer with the increased duration or dosage of the metformin. It increased. And so the longer the individual was on metformin and the more metformin the individual took, caused a greater increase in the individual's potential of developing Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia, or vascular dementia. And the period was just under 300 days and over 300 days. So the longer you're on it, the greater your chances are of developing one of these conditions. And you know, it's interesting to note that if you look back just a few decades ago, and you look at the rise of some of these diseases, when they chart these, like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia, vascular dementia, and the introduction of many of these drugs, one of which they focused on here, metformin, you can see the increase that's almost paralleled the usage of the drugs and the usage of now, or the development of individuals now being affected with these diseases that, you know, just a few decades ago we really didn't hear of or were aware of. And now it's just commonplace in many of our vocabularies to speak about somebody in our family, someone we know, our neighbor, somebody we work with whose relative is now affected with Alzheimer's and or dementia or vascular dementia, whatever it might be, these disorders. And you know, what's sad too is how it's portrayed on your television or whatever medium you use to be entertained or engrossed in. You know how they make light of it, and they have the individuals who are type 2 diabetics, you know, dancing through the office or skipping behind a lawnmower, or, you know, going out and going bowling and that, and they're all managing their disorder with this latest, greatest medication. You don't want to manage it. What you want to do is get rid of it, right? I mean, that really makes sense. You don't want to manage it. You want to get rid of it. Anyway, getting back to this, there's a Dr. John Pizzorno, and I don't want to misquote him. What he's been in the field of medicine longer than I. He's been in for 50 years now, and he's actually the founder of Bay Strip University, and he's the author of 11 different books. For years, he states that he felt that the primary drivers for the type 2 diabetes, the primary drivers, not that they have no effect, but he was believing, he states, that the primary reason for people getting type 2 diabetes or developing it was that they were nutritionally deficient, or had nutritional excesses. There's the good and the bad. There was the lack of exercise, smoking, or poor lifestyles, you know, in general. And those things combined created this, what we call type 2 diabetes. And as a matter of fact, years ago, it was called adult onset diabetes, But because now we're seeing young people, very young, even in their preteen ages, that are becoming type 2 diabetics, they no longer called it adult onset diabetes. They had to change the name of it to type 2 diabetes. Quite interesting, right? So in this interview, he said that, and I want to quote him, he said, I would now assert that the primary driver of chronic disease in general, which includes type 2 diabetes, in the industrialized world is environmental toxins. And I want to be very real clear. This is continuing his quote. I am not saying that nutritional deficiencies are no longer a problem, which indeed they are, because our food is, or what we call food, is devoid. Much of it is devoid of any kind of nutritional benefit whatsoever. But what he is saying is, I'll pick back up on the quote, what I am saying is that we have added a bigger problem because we are poisoning ourselves with metals and chemicals. He further points out that 10% of the public water supply as well, this is worldwide, has arsenic, known to induce disease in humans, and phthalates added to the plastics and the skincare products that bind some receptor sites internally in us, making it difficult for sugar to get into the cells and eventually causing the type 2 diabetes. I've been saying this, and not alone. There's many, many other doctors, not unlike myself, that have been saying this for years, talking about the toxins. Our body's never changed. It's fearfully and wonderfully made. And it's more than able to contend with the challenges that it's presented with. However, what is happening is, what has changed is our environment. It's become more polluted than ever. Our food, it's become less nutritional than ever. It's empty. We've become lazy in our lifestyles. I mean, the push of a button, the press of a thumb, or whatever it might be, and the work is done for us. We are inactive, and we're drinking concoctions that are supposed to give us extra energy and give us the edge in that. And if you look at the labels, you have no idea what most, if not all, the ingredients are, because they're all chemicalized and they're synthetic and whatnot. Anyway, it goes on. We're just polluted. See, it's not the body that's become weaker. It's the environment that's become dirtier. And as a result, in the environment I'm talking about is everything that we eat, everything we breathe, everything that we drink, what we put on our skin. Oh my gosh, it's absorbed into our body. All of these things that we're subjected to, and they just compound, and there is that reaction to them. And it's resulted not only in type 2 diabetes, but the whole gamut of chronic diseases now, and immune disorders that are just rampant across the horizon. So what do you do? Well, that's a good question. Do you want to continue to take the metformin? That's entirely up to you. Read the research. I mean, be an intelligent consumer if you're going to do these things. Know the price that you obviously would be willing to pay if you do that. Are there alternatives to metformin? Absolutely, positively. There are numerous alternatives to metformin, many of which are natural. They are unharmful to your body. They're there. Talk to your doctor about it. And if he or she doesn't have the answer, go to another doctor or seek out one that does, right? There are lifestyle changes that you can make. There are detoxification protocols that you can do that can rid your body, that can clean your body of all of these toxins that promote these types of disorders. And don't think that just doing it once is going to take care of you, because you're going to go right back out into the same polluted world that you cleansed yourself of a few moments ago, right? So what you've got to do is you've got to start to do this on a regular, routine basis, because you're going to accumulate and accrue these toxins all over again. They build up, and you've got to go back and do this over and over and over again. no problem. You can do those things. Those are some of the things that you can do in order to promote your health, in order to return your body to a healthy condition. Because, you know, if you're a type 2 diabetic, I want to tell you something. There was a day before, there were days before you were diagnosed as becoming a diabetic. You weren't a diabetic in those days, but something happened along the way, and that built up and built up and built up until it promoted you to the category where now your blood, as they read it, is saying that you are a diabetic. So you can do something about it. Why? Because your body's been fearfully and wonderfully made, and it wants to be well, right? And if you can't find a doctor that can help you, and I'm certain that if you do the research, you're going to find a doctor wherever you are that's going to be able to help you. But if you can't, please don't hesitate to contact us, because we work to help the people that come to us to regain and enjoy the best performance of their life. Hey, thank you so much for allowing me to share this information with you. And until the next video, and as always, God bless.